So I want to welcome everybody to Rhythmics Cultural Works K Gallery and our virtual gallery. This is about the 5th show, I think, that we've done virtually. It's not ideal, and yet we're able to connect to a lot more people who wouldn't be with us because you can be anywhere in your living room. So let me tell you, I know most of you probably aren't familiar with Rhythmics, so tonight I'm going to give a little bit about our mission. And we are based in Alameda. Our mission is to bring people together and build community by inspiring engagement in the arts as a way to learn about each other and the world. This is our 13th year as a community arts center, providing program that's relevant to the Bay Area. Our goals are to promote cultural awareness, encourage participation in the arts, and support artists in the presenting of their own work. Tonight we present The Breakfast Group, and taken from the description that Jan wrote. The Breakfast Group is a cohort of working Berkeley artists who create, teach, and curate, then join every week in discussing everything from exhibitions they've seen, books they've read, films, sports, and the politics of life and art, all with a good cup of coffee in hand. Last year, I was introduced to Jan by Michelle Nye, who had curated a show at Rhythmics K Gallery called Diaspora Voiced, and she did an amazing job with that show, and I think Jan was there. We met, and I had a studio visit with her. We ended up having a lively conversation with a cup of tea that lasted for a couple of hours, and we came up with the idea of presenting the Breakfast Group at K Gallery. Unfortunately, it's not a physical show, but I'm excited that I get to meet all of you anyway, and I wanted to let everybody know who isn't one of the artists that all the work will continue to be up beyond tonight on our online gallery, so you need to just visit the rhythmics.org website and you can see that. You can see some of our previous shows as well and the other things that we do. And one other thing is at the end of the evening, we'd love everybody to join in with some dialogue with all the artists after they give us some of their talk. So right now, I'll introduce Jan Worm as the host of the evening for the Breakfast Group.
Thank you so much, Janet. It is such a delight to be here, and I'm so happy to see all of you. I'm so glad that you could join us this evening. It has been a wonderful opportunity for all of us to have this exhibition. We are appreciative of Janet and her staff for the pivot they had to make this possible for us to come together virtually in the middle of all this ether, and to expand our community. Even though Berkeley geographically seems very close to Alameda, in fact, this has really been a wonderful expansion of our community, and we're so happy to make new friends and acquaintances and to be able to share our work with you. What we'd like to do is we would like to present some of the videos that the individual artists have made, and we will begin with 3 videos. The first 3 videos will be Katie Hawkinson, Donna Fenstermaker, and Carol Ladwick. So here we are in Katie's studio. I hope that Katie's been able to join us and tune in from the other side of the country where she is with her parents. But as you can see, her work is beautifully energetic, colorful, patterned, and inspirational. And we're so happy to always have her spirit join us.
Hi, Donna Fenstermaker here. Welcome to my outdoor studio in Berkeley. My indoor studio is in Oakland, but haven't been there during this COVID thing. Anyway, welcome. I am so lucky to have an outdoor area where I can paint, table, cool, sometimes cold, you know Berkeley. Anyway, I want to show you my outdoor studio. It's breathtaking. And of course, now you can hear the noises of the traffic resuming as crazy people travel about. Anyway, this is what I get to look at. And as an artist that's inspired by nature, here I am. I feel like I'm in a little treehouse smack above the city. Not that far above the city, but anyway, it's gorgeous. Thank you.
Could we scroll back up and see her work a little bit?
There's her work right there.
Thank you.
So as you can see, you're getting a little preview also of the online exhibition, and we can talk about that a little bit more, but I hope you'll come and visit and spend some time looking at all the work.
My name is Carol Ladwig, and this is my Oakland studio. And the painting, that one is one that's you'll recognize, it's one in the show. There's also a smaller work, which is a jelly print, which is created in my home studio, which is in the basement. All this work is part of a series called Time and Place. The works behind me were created or started in my Berkshire studio, which is in the middle of a forest. And 4 of them were finished in my Oakland studio. They are made with acrylic paint. They are made unstretched, and then I stretch them when I get back here. They're part of a series called Time and Place, which the focus is on the environment, the time of year, memories, and a sense of place, expressed through color and line.
So I just want to point out at this time that we have a wonderful catalog of the show. It's really beautiful. And we have Donna Fenstermaker to thank, because Donna, exhibition after exhibition, catalog after catalog, is incredibly patient, puts everything together, and makes all of us look really good. And this catalog is easily purchased. If you are on the Rhythmix website and you go to our exhibition, there is a button right there. And when you click on it, you'll be linked to the online print on demand, and you can obtain the catalog for yourself and have a document of all the work in the exhibition.
Yeah.
And while I have Donna on our minds, I actually would like to ask Donna a question that I want to ask of all the artists in the exhibition, in the breakfast group. And that is, could you point to one thing that was really a change in your practice and life in the studio during this period of the pandemic and sheltering in place? And what might pass on to the others who might encounter similar issues or concerns? Donna.
Can I take a moment to ask all the participants to mute themselves unless you're speaking? We're hearing a little bit of bleed there. So if you can do that, that would be great. I'm sorry, Donna, you go ahead.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, well,
I think the most dramatic thing, and it's probably not necessarily something that pertains to life in the studio, but that the pace of life has changed, which, allows breathing time, if you can breathe, which we can't do very well now, but it allows a kind of breathing time to think about what you do, to reflect on it, to maybe read a book then. Or I started looking at Impressionist paintings and started reflecting that in my work. And so I think it's that breathing time, that change of pace where we don't have to run around like maniacs.
Thank you. We have another group of videos for you, and they will be the videos of Joe Slesky, Nancy Gann, and Sandy Walker. And here we go. So even though we don't have Joe's voice in the studio, Joe is never quiet, nor is the work. It is full of energy, it's exuberant, it reaches in all directions through space, and every surface is treated with color and line and energy, constant movement.
Hello, I'm Nancy Gann, and this is my studio in Berkeley. Happy to greet you and welcome you. These are the two paintings that I selected to take to the exhibition of the Breakfast Group that will be in Alameda. The Breakfast Group is a long time group of starting with breakfast early in the morning by the UC campus professors at the art department. So we have a legacy that is very important to us to uphold the standards. My work that I selected are two of the same palette. I think they go well together. One is from the Patagonia series of the waterfalls from a trip that was several years ago to the bottom of the earth. And the other is from the Rainbar series. And it's self-explanatory, I hope, but the horizontal lines are a repeated pattern that has been in my recent works.
As we go through Sandy Walker's studio, we are faced with larger than life figures, trees, landscapes, filled with life. And here you can see a lot of paint. I just want to take a moment here to say that all of this work and the magic of us coming together is all thanks to Fong Chung, who is not visible to you, but he is there working to put all of this together, has done an amazing job, and handled all of our work with great respect, and we thank you. And then we have 3 more videos that we're going to show. As we're going into the next group, we have Robert Simons, John Friedman, and Kim Thoman.
Hello, I'm Robert Simons. I'm delighted to be in this show. And although the 2 pieces in the show are kind of adapted from Mexican folk art, I thought I'd show you some of my more recent work that I've completed this summer. So I have 3 works here, which are gouache and Prismacolor pencil on black Arches cover paper. They all have kind of a surrealist content, and I'm emphasizing a very colorful theme. I have a couple of paintings of sculptures which are adapted from another exhibitor in this show, Joe Slusky. So that's kind of interesting. In addition to these 3, there are 2 others. One, this picture of fish and paintings, which I like very much to use repeated images. And this piece, which I'm working on right at this moment, which is in progress, but I'm hoping will be successful when it's finished, which is about pepper grinders, a kingfisher, and some abstract images. Thanks. I hope you've enjoyed this brief tour.
So here we are in the studio of John Friedman. And what John is doing is showing us how he prepares a mat with meticulous care, the same care that we see in his really fine photographs with amazing, sharp, deep focus and incredible attention. And that is what we're watching right here in the simple act of creating a mat for his photographs.
Thanks, Kristen.
So as we're switching over, may I just give a little reminder to mute your mic? Thank you so much. You can check it at the bottom.
Hi, I'm Kim Thoman. I'm part of the online exhibit, and I'm here in my studio in Oakland, and I'd like to show you a few works. Here are 2 paintings that I call embellished paintings, similar to the works that I have on in this exhibit. Each of the paintings are framed in a welded steel, and then there's welded steel bits attached to the outside of the frame. Many people assume that I do the painting first and then the welded steel second, whereas in fact, I make the sculpture first and then add the paintings. So come on around the corner here and I'll show you a sculpture that's waiting for its paintings. So these are a new series that I'm working on called my One Wing Angel series. And the sculptural portion is complete, and of course it's waiting for its 2 paintings. Now come on over here and let me show you what I have been doing during isolation period. I have been embellishing mechanical toy bugs. And if you see here, there are a number of them on the tabletop. And they've been great company while I've been isolating.
That's so amazing and so fantastic. And now, Kim, I'd like to ask you the same question that I'm interested in with everyone. What would you point to as being one thing that was really a shift for you in your practice and in how you had to cope with one or another aspect in the studio, and what you would pass on for guidance or aid to someone else who might be experiencing something similar? Kim, have we lost you?
Sorry, got me now?
Got you now.
Right. All right, so the greatest experience for me has been a heightened awareness of the passage of time and a sensitivity of the elasticity of time and how time compresses and so on. And then sort of like watching a plant grow, I watched myself respond to the march of time or the stillness of time. Initially, for the first month, the element of change, we were all trying to, figure out what we were going to do for a month. And the element of change was kind of exciting, and time sped up. Things moved along. Then we hit the 2 to 3 month period, and we had to develop some habits. Habits had to begin to take place, and that sort of changed how time stood still at moments and then sped up. That's when I started what I call the angel bugs. That was the decorating of the little centipedes. That was the habit that I got into, just working on these little guys every day. Then the 6 month period has hit us now, as we all know. And for me, time has slowed way down. And then there's this idea of maybe a year or longer that's going to take place. So what has happened for me is I've gone backwards in time, and I've been thinking about the past. So because I'm in the studio, the first thing that I was looking at work that I did 10 years ago, then looking at work that I did 20 years ago, and then 30 years ago, and then 40 years ago, the work that I did in the 80s. And then that's when there was an interesting speed up of close the gap in time, because I saw the relationship of what I was doing 40 years ago and how it relates to what I'm doing now. So all I would say to someone else who had to be in the situation was, you might pay attention to the nuances of time.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. I think we are all so aware of these things during these really odd and strange months that we're experiencing. The next group of videos presents Fuad Satterfield, Lauren Raybach. You'll see my video from my studio, and Stan Hunselman.
Oh, here's Fuad's work.
Hello, I'm Fort Satterfield. And I'd like to invite you to join me and experience these paintings that I have in this exhibition, inspired by nature and thought about in urban settings. I'm not trying to tell a story in these works. I'm simply using the elements that I find most intriguing and curious for me in nature: texture, shape, color, and recombining them in such a way that I could create a pictorial narrative that will speak to you and hopefully inspire you, be exciting to look at, and ultimately be transcendent and transformative. Thank you very much.
So here we are in the studio of Lauren Reba. And Lauren, who has been a longtime member of the Breakfast Group, actually left us from Berkeley and went on to Napa, but he has been one of the most loyal members and still comes to Berkeley to have breakfast with us. But as you can see, Lauren had to leave Berkeley to be able to build his beautiful studio where he can do this really meditative and gorgeous work.
I'm Jan Worm, and the work that I have in this exhibition at the K Gallery at Rhythmics Cultural Works really is about communication and about what and how we make our connections with each other. And in that realm of the obvious with dog walk, the connection, the initial attraction parallel between the animals and the humans engenders some humor as well. And then on the other hand, with meditations, we have two figures who really are about how differently we can take on the same tasks and the same challenges in life. So I think particularly at this time when we're all sheltering, meditation and reflection are something that we are all spending quite a bit of time with. And I hope that you all are doing well with meeting that challenge.
What I'm doing today is when I made these chairs originally, I only made two, and I want to make two more. So I'm going to be working on duplicating these rings that go inside, I guess, the skeleton of the chair, armature. And so what I do, I have a piece of pipe, different sizes, that I wrap metal around, coil it, and I make those, and eventually I'll weld them, and then I'll start to build the whole thing. And the next version chair, I'm also going to use a wood.
That's all, folks.
Well, I'm so happy that we have Stan to remind us that it's okay to still laugh even during these times, and I'm very appreciative of that. I would like to ask Fuad to pick up the mic at this point and to fill us in on what has been particularly different and challenging for him in the studio and in his practice during this period, and what he might share with us. Thank you, Fuad. We need you to be unmiked, unmuted, I mean. So we are having a little bit of a technical problem right now hearing Fuad, but I just want to point out the gorgeous piece of sculpture that he has behind him, and to say that Fuad is an art collector, a collector of African sculpture, brings such a sense of beauty and design and history to his own work. So I'm glad that he has a little bit of assistance there from Kim.
Okay, hi.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We are with you.
Yes, I'm sorry. It just wouldn't let me unmute for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And I presume that the question that Jen put to the other fellows, I'll respond. That is, how has my practice been impacted because of the time inside? Well, it's been a continuation of what I've been doing all along. But the difference is now I'm looking more deeply into the concept of legacy as to why I'm doing this work. You know, for what reasons? How do I want it to be seen? What's the impact of it? So has been the important shift. And what I've been doing is also just pulling out older works and having little mini exhibitions just to see what the continuity has been. Have I stayed close to my initial impulse as to try to reflect and respond and create a narrative around nature, and certainly now nature screams out for us to acknowledge it, and so this is very important for me. And so I think that if I would say to anyone, I would say that this would really be a very profound time to stop and just look more closely at what you're doing and try to articulate in your own way how best you feel that it will serve you and also be a part of your legacy as we move on through this universe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Fuad. So as we go through the members of the breakfast group who are with us, I hope that each of you, when I call upon you, could just unmute yourselves and give us a moment of your thoughts on these questions of the changes and the obstacles, the challenges that you've met, and how you have faced them, so that we can all have a deeper understanding. So I'm going to call on Carol Ledwig first.
Unmuting. Mainly the challenge has been a space to work in, as my studio was not habitable because of, well, now because of smoke. And so building a space in my house and working downstairs. And I think, as everybody has said, it's about sort of the time and being able to develop a rhythm in terms of being able to work, and then to maintain that through various interruptions, which I had a lot of interruptions this summer. So that was negotiating that. I mean, I think the amount of change occurring right now is phenomenal in every aspect. And so that's been an impact in how I work. I'm working smaller, I'm working on paper, I'm doing very small, non-traditional printing practices as a way of maintaining my practice, but in a very different way than I normally do.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. So it's always wonderful to see the opportunity to take on something new and a new material. Lauren, would you like to unmute at this point and let us know a little bit about life?
Well, it's very, very strange, but I'm not
it probably is affecting, later on I will think that it maybe affected me more than I think it does now, because I've always had a routine where I always have coffee in the morning, I read the newspapers, and then I go to my studio, and that hasn't changed. I just go on the same routine. But if there's anything in my work, this whole series started before this COVID thing happened, but I feel like I have way more time than I may have had in the past. And so I'm spending a lot of time making works that starting out with concepts that might take months and months to finish. And I find that in a strange way kind of refreshing in a way. I don't feel rushed to finish anything to get it out there. I feel I have this long and almost love affair with the painting that I'm working on, and it's making it last because it's so complicated what I'm doing. So in that sense, perhaps I've been influenced by the COVID, but as I say, I'm not really sure.
Thank you. It's wonderful to think about a new connection to our work. Joe, could you please unmute yourself now and let us hear from you? It's the bottom of your screen.
Okay. Hello?
Thank you. Yes, there you are.
You can call me Kristen. Yeah, well, a little bit like what Donna was saying. I am enjoying, in a way, that things are just and I like it, less kind of frenetic in a way. I mean, I'm just sort of, it's not like I'm doing anything different. You know, I'm, working on things. I just sort of, it seems to be less, less, I don't know, less distractions, It's sort of, to me, for a while I was thinking like, I mean, and very fortunate to be able to say this, is it's sort of like the ultimate art residency, where you go away, right, to be able just to focus, on your work completely, right? I mean, you're given studio space and food or whatever. So, but at the same time, I'm, going off doing, I mean, to me, I've always sort of, the art is, it's a center point, and it's, I mean, especially now, I mean, I don't know if especially now, it's always been, yeah, especially, right? I mean, it's all like, it helps balance you. You keep it helps keep you sane, or a way to, yeah. I mean, so I always, I feel that even more, probably more so now, and like others have said, there's a lot more time, it seems to be, to reflect on, what you've been doing for the last 50, 60 years. And
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. That's great. I think that all of us, particularly at this stage in our lives, to have this time is really valuable. It's enforced. And I'm going to ask Robert to unmute and to join in this and share with us something that he's encountered during this period of isolation.
Well, thanks, Jan. That's very nice. I can't possibly hope to equal the erudition and seriousness of purpose and insights of all you guys who have come before. I'm just trying to do my best to make pictures that are colorful and appeal to me. And I've been very lucky this summer to make a whole bunch of them, but why didn't my video get included?
It was played.
Oh, it was?
Yes, I think you came a half hour late.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video.
It was wonderful. We did. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I have a question because I don't see here on the screen whether Katie's been able, oh, there she is. Katie, are you, yeah. No, Katie hasn't been able to join us from the East Coast, has she? No. So is there anyone else from the breakfast group that I haven't seen up on the screen here to join in?
Yes, there is.
Oh, we have a past member, a very long-term member who's not in this exhibition, but he's checking in from Colorado. Hello, Brent.
Yes, hello. How are you, Jen? Yeah, I just wanted to say that I was born on Pill Hill, and I lived 25 years in New York City and moved to Oakland. And in Oakland, I was met by Charlie Strong and asked to join the breakfast group in 1990. And the breakfast group—
Which was 30 years ago, for those who aren't doing the math, 30 years.
I was just born.
Anyway, the breakfast group was a lifesaver for me personally, because it was the only thing happening in where I lived in California that people were talking about art. It was during that time I went to see John Cage in an art show in San Francisco. And John Cage was scurrying around the throng of the gathered people, and no one knew who he was. And I thought, well, it was horrible that here was this major character with an art show, and nobody knew who he was. And anyhow, I don't know, I'm just sort of ad-libbing here. We just did we have the Museum of Friends, and Katie and Joe and Jan and a number of people, Nancy, a number of people.
John Friedman.
Yes, yeah. John.
Mm.
John's visited the Museum of Friends, actually. Kim came close, but
Kim visited? Kim visited.
I didn't know that. Anyway, hello, you guys. You are extremely important to me, and I am thrilled. And I know, Maria, we're both thrilled to be a part of this.
And if the fires get too bad, we'll make do, and you come here. Just drive here, and we'll find shelter for you.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to have a mass exodus from California.
Yeah,
but I don't know if we're headed for the snow of Colorado that you just showed us. So I would like to give others who are with us, who've joined in, a chance to sort of ask questions. If anyone has a question for one of the artists in the group, or would like to just talk about how this has affected your studio practice, because I know we have a lot of other artists here with us and we don't have a lot of time left. So we'd really love to just have a little greeting and hear from you. So if you want to just raise your hand and then unmute, and then we can hear from you. Otherwise, I'm going to start calling them my friends. Jean, do you want to talk a little bit about what the pandemic has been like for you? Jean and Roger, I must say, are the most devoted volunteers from the Richmond Art Center. Every show that I ever curated there was installed. Every single nail or screw was put in the wall by Jean and Roger. I never lifted a finger for an exhibition. They did it all.
On, you were turning me. Are you way on?
Yeah.
You were very persuasive, though. Very persuasive. I don't know. I think I'm the most spoiled person in the world because Roger goes out and makes contact with the world and brings home the food. And, you know, all I do is write him a couple checks a month and he takes care of me. But in terms of studio, last fall I kind of threw my back out and I just to be stubbornly resistant to the pain, I started a whole new series, which was very intensive woodworking. And then COVID came along and I just kept going. And it was very energizing and very focusing. And bless our dog, she gets me out almost every day for about a 2-mile round trip walk. Mask not, you know, it depends. But I miss the art center. I miss having in-person contact with people. You know, dog walking and not talking to people is sort of weird, you know, all this going around each other and so on. But in terms of studio work, it's been great, you know.
Good.
Get in there.
Good. I see that Leah Cook has just come back to her camera. Leah, are you there? Would you like to unmute and join us?
I'm here. I didn't expect to talk, but I've been enjoying listening to it. And, you know, I know a number of people here, so it's really nice to hear from it. Let's see what I've been doing. I get to the studio sometimes, not all the time, but I've been, like several of the other artists here, I've been looking back at earlier work and pulling out things and reworking them. And since I do the weaving, I'm weaving old images back in. And so that's been really interesting to me. And also the other thing is we have a wonderful garden that my husband does. And so I've been taking a lot of pictures of plant fibers. So I'm putting brain fibers and plant fibers and anyway, you know, all of that together. So it's a time to be experimental.
Wonderful. It's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's so great that you joined us today. I'm hoping somebody will just raise a hand. Anyone else want to unmute and join in? I don't want anyone to feel left out here. We're so happy to be together and have this opportunity.
Kim has her hand raised, so go ahead and unmute yourself, Kim.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Just a quick comment. We've all experienced the Zoom culture. This is new for me anyway. This is, you know, life now is on Zoom, that with online exhibits, which for me in any case have been a real wonderful experience because I can submit works that are larger. So that's definitely affected that during this period. It's affected, but the Zoom thing is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I really miss I miss having my morning coffee with everyone every week. I have to say that. I think that we're all better off when we have contact with each other, regardless of how erudite we are at 8:30 in the morning on a Friday. But just being together and the continuity and knowing that we're all in our studios and we're all working is so important. And so it's been a real pleasure that that we've been together here. And I I think we're just taken over for a moment, but I do want to say thank you. And I want to again, thank everyone for keeping up their spirits during this really difficult time, and to continue to reach out beyond this circle to all of your friends, and to give the same amount of support to everyone that you can. And I again want to say thank you, express thanks to Rhythmics, Cultural Works, K Gallery, for another community that has opened arms to us. We are all so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. We're having like simultaneous Zoom events, so I had to give up the microphone. So I'm just happy to meet all of you. Leah, I want to tell you that when I was a young artist coming to Berkeley, that you were a hero to me. I remember your airport piece because I was working in fabric at that time. So I'm excited to meet you. And everybody else in the breakfast group, it's lovely to hear what you have to say, your deep insights. And I hope that your community that you've created can come visit our community over in Alameda at Rhythmics. And you know, when we can gather again. But this is a good start, a way to be together and share our plights and our thoughts and our creative processes and give each other energy. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And is everybody finished? The one thing we didn't do is allow for questions to the artists. So
yeah, actually, I thought that we started with that. Sure, questions to the artists.
Brent for Joe.
Joseph, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Joe, I got the cigar.
Can you see him?
Yes, we can see it.
What?
That's Joe's cigar.
I'll give you the full demo. I got a few I've been working on.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you, Jan, and everybody for putting this on to see everybody in real time. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us all the way from Colorado. It's great to see you.
Yeah.
And thank you for the books today. That's another story.
Oh, yeah, that was fabulous.
Hi, Brent. Great to see you, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, Joseph.
He loves his cigar.
Yeah.
Keep it coming.
So maybe we should wrap it up here, Jan?
I think so. I think that we'll soon all be, I'm hoping that soon we'll all be able to gather and actually share a cup of coffee and talk about all of this in the past tense. So looking forward to better days and all the new work in the studio. Thanks all for coming, for joining us.
Thank you.